two-time winner, originally from Brazil and now from Beverfield, New Jersey, Angelica Teixeira.
After placing second at the 2020 Arnold Classic to the newly crowned Miss Olympia, Isa Piccini, Angelica suffered a devastating knee injury at her home in Austin, Texas.
With Angelica's case, she tore her meniscus. So there's 3 layers of cartilage in the knee, and 2 of them are kind of the end caps of the bones, and then between them you have this meniscus cartilage, and it doesn't cover the entire thing. It's the C-shaped cartilage that sits towards the outer edge, and it's prone to tearing with twisting injuries and stuff like that.
So when I hurt my knee, I was like, thank God it wasn't during my Arnold prep, because when I got hurt, I had just finished the Arnold prep and, compete at the Arnold. And I was in my mind like, what if it happened, right before I go on stage for the Arnold, because that show was super important for me too. And I was like, and thank God it happened now, there's quarantine, and I have time to recover and be my best for the Olympia.
She's a fighter, that's how I see it.
Angelica's husband, Marco Teixeira, is no stranger to what it takes to become a champion. As a U.S. Navy veteran and a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Renzo Gracie, Marco has trained elite soldiers and law enforcement on hand-to-hand combat techniques.
So I called it first, before the injury. I said, you have to put some weight back, you have to stretch, because you're too dry right now. She was so lean after the Arnold, right? Yeah. I say you're too lean. I said this is not good. Ain't no bodybuilder have to be lean like this until the Olympia right now. So a couple weeks she's dancing her knees, and I'm like, hey, watch your knee, watch your body, stretch. Always comes in dancing. I'm like, oh my God. So one day we're here, she's right behind you there, she's dancing, and then she just grabbed her knees, like, I'm like, well, I call it, and there goes her meniscus,
She had done something to twist and had torn it off the rim, and it had kind of flipped. So we call it a bucket handle, because when you take a bucket handle and you can flip it from one side to the other, it's still attached to the 2 points, but because it's not attached at the center, it does this little pivot. And that's essentially what she did, and it had flipped into a position in the center of the knee and was blocking her motion. So it really had her stuck, and she couldn't get her quad extensions all the way out. Anything that required full knee extension was uncomfortable for her.
I was actually grateful, because I knew it was about to happen when it happened, because I was just doing a little dance, a little movement. It was nothing. It was about to happen anytime.
After first attempting physical therapy, Angelica soon realized that her knee injury was much more serious than she originally thought.
But after 1 month, I was like, no, it's not getting better. So I decided to go to a doctor. Even with COVID and everything, I was afraid to get out of the house. But I went to a doctor, and then he said, no, you really need to get surgery. Oh my God. So now I lost my title, I didn't win the Arnold, now my knee. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get better. And then when I came for the Arnold and I showed my best, even though I didn't win, I was like, okay, I did it, because I knew I have grown, I have improved myself. And then when I hurt my knee, I was like, I got down on myself a little bit for a little moment, and then I was like, you know what? Another opportunity for me to show that, nothing's gonna stop me, If I go through this, I can go through anything.
And I think that's the best mentality to have if you want to be a fighter, right? Not give up. And she had that. She proved that with her knee injury. She didn't tell anybody because, you know, I said, we'll sit down. I was like, how are we gonna plan this? Because if your leg come different, it was a little different. I don't think not at the Olympia, but before, the whole time, I'm like, shit. She was like, my knee is different. No, it's great. I was like, shit, this is gonna be bad.
So I even decided not to talk about it. You know, I posted about my knee and that I was doing physical therapy, but I didn't say anything about the surgery because I didn't want the people to feel sorry for me or to look at me like, oh my God, poor little thing. You know, like, oh, now she's coming for the Olympia and how it's gonna be. I didn't want the people to see that side. I wanted to face it myself, and I didn't want like people to like, okay, she's gonna be able to do it or not. I think it would be great because I was showing my mind that I was gonna be able to do it.
Well, and that's where I think people make a lot of mistake too. When you keep talking about like my hand, posting my hand, I got injured, that thing is sticking in your mind, like, and your mind is so powerful, right? It's some things like if you think that you have in your hand, you make you believe it, right? Your mind make you believe you have something in your hand, you're gonna get it.
So for somebody like Angelica, it's like, well, she knows. She's had little things here and there, and when we talked to her about her injury, she knew, and it was what we would have expected out of a pro. You know, she knew exactly what her goals were, what the recovery was going to take, what the commitment was, and when to pump the brakes. I mean, the fact that she even came in was something that kind of illustrated her level of professionalism. I've got this thing in my knee. I know it's not right. You know, I could take the route of just pushing through it and causing more damage, but she knew as an athlete, hey, something's not right here, and then was humble enough to say, let me go get it checked.
And then when I was thinking about the surgery and deciding what I was gonna do, they announced it. So I was like, okay, so now it's, you know, everything worked perfect. Now I have more time, I can get the surgery, and I'm sure I'm gonna recover. I knew in my mind that, you know, like, you know, the champion's mind, they're like, okay, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do and I'll get better and I'll recover 100% and just be ready for the Olympia in December. So for me, the best thing ever was the Olympia to be moved to December.
You know, her and I went back and forth on whether or not to stitch it, to repair the portion that had flipped and done that bucket handle maneuver. And the shorter term, you know, the less time it spends in that flip position, the better, because it's more prone to getting further injured. So for those people who have a flipped bucket handle meniscus who want it to be stitched again, then time is very critical. The clock is ticking.
But I just didn't want the people to look at me like and feel sorry. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this myself, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna recover, and that's what I did. I got the surgery, and 1 week after, I was already doing physical therapy, and the physical therapist said, oh, let's do at least 2 months without any training, just physical therapy, and when you're ready, we're gonna let you know. But with 15 days, I was already training. I got the dumbbells at home, and you know.
To be honest with you, when she came back at 2 weeks, she was, you know, she was already training.
Yeah. So did you expect that?
No, I didn't expect it, but I wasn't that surprised.
So I was doing like one exercise physical therapy like they asked for, and then resting with dumbbells and doing shoulders, you know, doing a little something.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't sit still too long.
Yeah. But for legs, they say, no, it's gonna take a while, but with a month, I was already training my legs. And with 1 month, I wasn't doing any physical therapy anymore, because when I went to them, they were like, you're recovering so fast, because I was doing things by my own. You know, they say the pain is the signal. If you feel pain, don't keep going for the physical therapy. But I was like, I'm gonna try the weights and then, let me try. If I feel the pain, I stop. And I felt the pain, but I was like, I can't handle, you know?
Yeah, it was tough. Like she's talking, because I tried to erase things in my mind, you know, like that bothered me. Like, because in my mind, I was like, it's gonna be tough. She's not gonna make it, you know, but I wanna make sure that I'm gonna be here for her and make her believe that she's gonna do it. And if it works, good. If it doesn't, at least we try, right?
Also, I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want to feed it, For me, I was like, okay, I got it done, over. The goal is what? To bring my best physique ever. The goal is not to focus on the knee, on the surgery, on, oh my God, I got injured. No, I wanted to forget it,
With her surgery and physical therapy behind her, Angelica now had to rely on her mental strength to begin her 19-week preparation. She had to focus on one thing and one thing only.
Focus on the future. And the future in my mind was bring your best and let's get the title back. So once I knew my body was different than the other preps, so I needed more time. Usually I do 12 weeks prep. For the Arnold, after I lost my title, I did 16 for the first time ever, and I brought such a great physique. But for this time, I was like, I need more time. I did 19 weeks prep.
When they're not burning as many calories because their activity levels have dropped, and then their quad atrophies, and I want them to build back that quad muscle, and they want to start dieting because they're worried about the weight gain, we end up kind of stuck in this middle. So I'll tell them like, no, like it's okay. And I think that's hard to tell people sometimes, like, it's okay to gain a little weight in your recovery. That's okay, like, we need the muscle.
Well, no lie, like, I thought she was gonna give up a couple times, and then she was like not getting shape, and look at her pictures and like, I'm done, and I'm like, I'm not saying nothing right now.
Some phase of my prep, I even thought like, oh my God, I should give up because I don't know if I'll be able to bring my best. So the first few weeks was a little like, oh my God, playing with my mind and, like getting my game strong in my mind because I needed to not diet down at the beginning. Even though when I look at my pictures, I was like, oh, I should just go like start dieting down right now because I don't know if I'll get in shape on time, even though I started before. People sometimes think that it doesn't come to our minds, like to the champion's mind, to the people that are on top, but it does. But right there, right at that moment, I was like, no, I'll do it. I'm not giving up. I'll come back, I'll show my best. I know it's not being easier, but I'll do what it takes. So, I diet the way I had to do it. I did more cardio, I worked harder than ever. And after, like when I was 2 weeks, like with 14 weeks, I saw my body and I was like, wow. It's like, this is not just, like being ready, this is being ready to show my very, very best.
For us, when she told me that she was going to go straight from the surgery to start prepping for the Miss Olympia, I was a little bit nervous. I mean, I know that when we talk about people prepping for this, it's a year-long prep. And the only thing that really gave me reassurance was, one, her confidence when she went into it, and the fact that this was not her first rodeo. It was hard to argue with her, even as the doctor, where it's something that you just are very cautious about promising anything to anybody. And I would never promise anybody that you would be able to really perform and have no muscle atrophy and be undetectable. She goes, nobody's gonna know. And I was like, I don't know, But sure enough, she gave me the confidence to go with that plan, and I was surprised and pretty impressed.
But her proving that she can and overcome this knee injury, I think for me it was like everything. It got to the point we even forgot, like she was Olympic competing, I'm like, up there, I was like, oh yeah, you look perfect, let's go, you won this, you got it. I didn't even think about her knee no more, right?
So you really need good people by your side to encourage you, on those bad days. So I think they did that for me, like my husband, my sisters, like my friend, Anna. They were there for me to kind of like remind me of the champion, like, hey, you remember who you are? And I was like, yes, like you are 2-time Miss Bikini Olympia champion. Yeah, like, hey, you are the queen.